I think I'm past it now, but I've definitely reached the burnout stage again where I just am so over having the same conversations and it's not fun for me anymore. I'm not having fun. And I'm a big believer in that dating should be fun.
I agree.
Yes, I'm trying to meet somebody, but it should just be a fun experience. I just go through this like, you know, like I'm sure you had the comments too about like, you know, you're being too picky and things like that. And so I go back in my head and I'm like, am I being too picky? Like, is this the reason? But then I'm not. Like, I don't think I am.
No, you're not. And I'm not either. And I think that when it's the right person, it's just going to click, right? Like, it's going to be easy and it's going to feel good. And you have to stay true to that. And you shouldn't settle. You've already come this far. Okay, yay, now I can see you. Okay, so let me just do a quick intro. Can you say your last name one more time for me?
So it's Zaslawski.
Zaslawski. Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Crowdsourcing Love. Today I'm here with Hannah Zaslawski. Wait, I did not say that right. Can you say it for me?
Zaslawski.
Zaslawski. Okay. And she said that's a Polish last name. And you're originally from Australia, and now you live in London?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. It's good morning from me. It's good afternoon for you. Hannah is famous for going on 50 first dates, or she's a content creator who's currently in the midst of going on 50 first dates. And then I am notorious for going on 28 dates in February. So we have a lot in common. How's it going today for you, Hannah?
With the dating?
Well, let's just start with like generally, like how are you?
I'm good. So like I'm in a bit, winter's come. So I do think that I think that changes how you date a little bit. And I'm definitely feeling like burnt out from dating. And I feel like I probably need to take a step back and like focus on myself again before I get back out into the dating game.
1000%. I feel as though dating fatigue is so real. And I went through a very similar moment in time where I didn't date for a few months because I just didn't feel like myself anymore. And I think it's okay to take a step back. It's really a personal decision. So backing up a little bit before we go deep into that, you're, like I said, you're famous for going on 50 first dates, but you're in the middle of it. So what date number are you currently on?
33.
Okay.
I've posted. I've done 34, but 33.
Okay. And when do you post? Is it like pretty immediate after the date, or do you leave a little bit of lag time in there?
I'll try and leave a little bit of time in there.
Okay.
Just in case I do meet somebody, then it means that I have like a little bit of time to explore it before I post the first date.
That's really smart. So when I did my 28 dates in February, I posted almost in real time. And so all the men, they were following along and they knew exactly how I felt about them. And I feel like that took away like the element of mystery and intrigue. And so I think you're smarter for doing that.
Yeah. And also like it gives me time, I think, to take some time off if I want to, because I'll have like a date to post. So I can maybe not do a date in a week and then I can do like 2 in another week.
So how often are you going on dates?
Probably like once a week, maybe, but then it's so variable. Okay. Like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I'm in my dating phase and I'll go on like 2 a week for like 3 weeks. And then other times I'll be like, oh, no,
I'm tired. It's cold, whatever else is going on in your life.
Exactly.
Okay. And you're 30 years old and you're an actress, right? Can you give us like a little bit of context of, you know, how you were inspired to go about this challenge? Because I really think that we started around similar times, which is cool. It's like we're on a similar brainwave.
Yeah. Although like I love that yours was like in a month. I was like, now that I'm realizing what a big commitment it was, I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot.
Yeah, it really is.
But I think it was like I had a lot of people ask me this, like, why did I start the series? Mm-hmm. And I found it really hard to answer because I didn't actually know myself. But I think in reflection, it was to kind of see what I was doing wrong in dating, like if it was me or, you know, to try and get pointers on how to date because I just wasn't meeting anybody.
Yeah.
So I think it was more so for that than anything. What about you? What was the reason you did yours?
So I just needed to hold myself accountable. And also, similar to you, I'm very creative and I wanted to do some sort of social media journey. And I really like to vlog. And I was like, I should do a series. And then I was like, I'm really single. So why don't I do a dating series?
I was
Um,
really scared to do it
yeah.
initially though, because I had the first video sitting for about a month.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, because I hadn't been on TikTok or anything prior to starting this series.
Okay.
Um, and I had it in my head for a little while. And then it was my friend who is a content creator that was like, just post it. What are you worried about? Just
Yep.
post it.
Absolutely. Just like go on the date, the same thing. Do it. Take action. So you did it, and then did it pop off right away? Did it start to go super viral?
I remember waking up the next morning and having like 30,000 views on it and being like, oh my God, 30,000
Yeah.
people have seen my face.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it just kind of slowly built over the process, I think. I
Mm-hmm.
was definitely more hesitant to put it on Instagram. So I think I had it separated just on TikTok for about 4 months before I joined my
Me too.
content on
Yeah. Do you like Instagram or TikTok better?
Insta.
Same. It's so much
Yeah.
easier for community building, and I feel like I'm like constantly DMing my followers and like doing polls, and I love the interface. And I'm similar to you where I started it on TikTok. It started to go viral, and then that gave me the confidence to put it on Instagram. But Instagram
Yeah.
feels higher stakes because I think we're both millennials, and so our social circles are on Instagram, whereas TikTok, it's more Gen Z. A lot of my friends, my family, they aren't on TikTok, so that's kind of why I took like a
That
little
was
bit to
the
transition.
Yeah, same thing for me. I think I was too nervous for people that I knew in my personal life to actually see that.
Hmm.
So it was TikTok that built up that confidence to bring it across to Instagram. But I definitely reply to people on Instagram. On
Yeah,
TikTok, I just,
I don't
sorry.
either. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Um, how did your family receive it? Has it been a lot of positivity coming your way? Has there been some negativity as well, or how's it been going?
My family's pretty supportive. I think my dad just doesn't like he knows what I'm doing, but I don't think he like watches any of the videos.
Yeah.
My mum comments on every video.
Oh,
It's
I
very
love
cute.
that.
I'm like, Mum, you can say it to my face.
Yep.
Um, and then yeah, I mean, there was I think that's why I was so scared to post initially because I was like worried about the negative backlash, but the positive far outweighs the negative. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you probably feel the same.
Yes.
I think that a lot of women connect to it a lot more and then screw the guys that make negative comments.
And there's always going to be haters out there, but that's how you know you're doing something. So definitely keep going. And I have the same amount of people commenting on my body, commenting on my appearance, commenting on my age, like all these different things. And for me, it's just like that. Like it's the world that we live in. There's always going to be trolls.
Yeah. And I think I think I've had maybe like a few days where I've let it get to me because
Mm-hmm.
it's natural you're reading all this negative stuff, but generally I'm pretty positive and I can like make a joke out of it. Like I was getting a lot of Fiona from Shrek comments
What?
and I actually went as her to a Halloween party, so I just posted
Oh,
that
I
on my
love
story to
that.
be like badass Fiona right here, like it's just about like
Embracing
agreeing.
it. Yeah, 1000%. Actually, the other day I got a troll comment where somebody was like, she's not cute enough to get such nice dates. And I like, actually, that comment hit me. And it was on Thanksgiving, and I was with my family, and I like read it, and it actually ruined my day. And that was the first time in a long time where like the negativity actually got to me. But I think we're
Mm.
human, and I usually can like rise above it, but sometimes it does actually hurt my feelings.
Yeah, and because we read most of them too. Like
Yeah.
I read all of them, but
Yep.
I don't generally reply to any of the
No.
negative comments.
They
Do
just
you
want
leave them up?
attention. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you leave them up or do you hide them?
So I delete a lot of them. I don't get as much because I've blocked a lot of the people who were actively commenting or DMing me mean things. But essentially, like for me, I think I represent a lot of people. I think you also represent a lot of people. And so I don't want people to go under the comments and just read negativity and then internalize that because as women, I feel like there's so much negativity already coming towards us in the world as it is. And so I don't want to
Mm.
platform those people. So I delete some of it. It depends on how out of bounds it is. If it's just like hateful and hurtful, gone, delete. If it's something where we can have a constructive conversation around, then I'll reply and I'll leave it up, and people are reading those replies and those back and forths, and people are liking them and engaging it with them. And so it depends on like what the sentiment is. What do you do?
Interesting. Yeah, because I never thought about that other people are reading the comments. Generally, I'll just leave them up because I think if you have that in your body to say that,
Yeah.
then, you know, like I want people to be clear that you're the one saying that. But now that I'm thinking about the other perspective in terms of like people that are in our experiencing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
it does make a lot of sense to be like, no, they don't want to read those comments either.
No, because they see themselves in you. And so it
Mm.
probably kind of hurts their confidence as well. And I even recently was following this person who's like a big body positivity person. And I looked at her comments because she was just like owning herself, owning her body. She's married. She's this like lovely, lovely person inside and out. And there were no negative comments underneath a lot of her posts that were like somewhat controversial, because whenever a woman loves herself, it's always a little controversial to the internet.
I
And
know.
seeing no negative comments underneath that post, it was actually really powerful, because I was like, oh, people accept it. It's all
Mm.
good. Whereas when you see nothing but negativity, I think that makes people think, oh, like I have to stay in the closet, or I can't accept and love myself because this is like the feedback I'm going to get. I don't know,
I
that
think
could be a hot take.
I think it's also like an echo chamber. Like I'm sure
True.
you notice the same. The videos that go to more people get a lot more negativity, but
Yes.
like the base people that I have that are following me and watching my things, they're always really positive.
Yeah.
So it's only if it goes to outside your audience that that negativity really comes in.
So where do you find most of your dates? And are you asking guys out? Because I know you date both men and women. Are you the person who's usually like making the first move? Are they making the first move? Like, kind of walk me through how you find your first dates.
I would say that I make the not I wouldn't say that I make the first move.
Okay.
Like I'll kind of always let them message me first,
I like
and
that.
it's generally on dating apps. So like once they've initially reached out, there'll be a few exchanges of messages, and then generally I'll be the one to be like, what are you up to tomorrow night? Or what are you up to this Friday? Do you want to go for a drink? So I'm the one that suggests the meetup, but generally they're the ones to reach out first.
Yeah, during my 28 dates in February, I did something similar where I would be like matched with a guy. We've had a back and forth, like they've reached out to me, but there's no date planned yet. And I would just be like, hey, do you want to grab a drink tonight? And they would either be like, yeah, and they'd like pick a spot, or they'd be like, hey, I can't tonight, but we could do like tomorrow at this time. And so that really showed me like, okay, they're serious about actually seeing me. And then if they didn't make a plan, I would just unmatch them.
So crazy. So, okay. So you need to help me on this
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm always the one that organizes the dates most of the time, or like where we're meeting up.
Okay.
I guess I don't know. Like, I feel like most of the men I meet up with don't take charge in like saying, okay, we're going to meet at this, like, let's meet at this place. Does it work for you?
Do you think that you're leaving room for them too? Or are you just like initially like offering that? Like we could go here.
No, I think that I leave room to for sure.
Okay.
It'll usually be like, what are you doing tonight? Should we grab a drink? And they'll be like, yeah. And I'll generally be like, where did you want to meet up?
And then they'll say
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, they'll just be like, I live in this area. Where do you live? I don't know. I feel like I'm always the one that suggests the place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe instead just be like, okay, let me know. Or after they say yeah, just like stop messaging and then make them double message you with a
Okay.
plan.
Double
I
message.
think
Got it.
for women, like especially like we're both high functioning, we're organized, we're go-getters. Clearly we're putting ourselves out there like how we are. I think that sometimes it's so easy for us to want to take control of the situation. But I think sometimes in dating specifically, it's okay to just like lean back and create space to see what they do. Because
Mm,
there are a lot of people who are low effort, low investment, and you don't want to waste your time on those people because your time's valuable.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Totally true.
So okay, and what dating apps are you on? Like what's the vibe in London?
Well, I've just deleted them all so I can
You
take a break.
deleted them?
Yeah, I did. I just deleted them
I
all.
love it.
Only like 2 days ago.
Okay. Which ones are you
I
using?
do try and meet people in real life. Like if I see a cute guy on the tube,
Mm-hmm.
I will be like, make the eyes and then give my number on the way out. But generally it's like Hinge or Tinder.
Okay, Hinge or Tinder. Do you guys have first rounds on me or any of those? Like there's a lot of new concepts in the states.
Thursday is the only
Thursday.
other one.
Okay,
Yeah.
is Thursday where you can only meet on Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. So first rounds on me, I actually really like because essentially what you do is a guy has to propose a date and a time and a drink before you can even match. And so the date is already like pre-set up and all you have to do then is show up. And you can't talk unless it's 12 hours before the date. So it cuts
What's
out all the
this?
small talk. It's called First Rounds on Me. They actually sponsor this podcast, so this is like a bit of a plug. But I wish they would bring that to the UK because for me, it was really convenient during my 28 dates in February, where it was like, okay, if a guy's actually serious about getting me on a date, he's going to propose the drink, the time, the date, and then all I have to do is show up on the day.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's pretty
And it
magical.
takes that, like, I'm the one suggesting a place out of it because it's already set.
It's already set. That would solve your problem, actually. And then you wouldn't
Yeah.
have to be the person to organize.
Yeah.
They should bring it to the UK. I'll tell the guy. His
Yeah.
name's Joe.
You
I don't know why I'm
absolutely.
saying the guy. Okay. And then what are you looking for in a partner? Like, what are your standards? What are your criteria?
Um, like, okay.
I know it's a big
I
question.
It is a big
Mm-hmm.
question. Yeah. I wrote down like a little list of something I wanted in a partner and I
Okay.
did meet that in date 20. But he didn't like give me what I needed. So I've like revised what I actually want in a partner. But basically I just want my best friend. Like I don't think that I have like particularly high standards. Um, but somebody that has a bit of charisma but is super humble.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love somebody that's like really down to earth and but can like go to like nice bars and fancy bars, but also will like get a ragged beer on a Sunday at a pub with me.
Yep.
But just somebody that's like humble, also driven. Driven is a big thing for me.
Okay. So humble, driven, somebody who's like a little bit high low, so they can do like those bougie moments, but also be like grounded, down to earth, go to a dive bar.
And
Um,
adventurous. I want somebody
Adventurous.
adventurous.
Are you looking for marriage? Like, are you looking to have a traditional family?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your timeline?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd want to be able to like hang out with my partner for a while before like I even think about marriage or
Yeah.
something. But obviously, I'm 30 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and kids is something I want.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. Like, I'd hope to meet somebody in the next year or two.
Okay. That's great. And are you
What
looking
about
to
you?
I definitely am ready for my husband yesterday. So I'm 32. So I'm a few years older than you. And I think for me, my biggest thing is having aligned values. So obviously I have to be attracted to them, but I don't get so caught up on like height or things that are superficial.
Same.
Just as long as there's like good chemistry there, I can work with that. But yeah, I definitely want somebody who's family oriented, ambitious, has a similar lifestyle or similar lifestyle aspirations. They don't have like a lot of people are like, I want them to already be at this level. And I'm like, we can arrive together. We just have to be going in the same direction, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
I completely agree. And values is a big one.
Yep.
Like, yeah. And I'm the same as you. I'm ready. Like,
Yep.
I am so ready for I want to live with my partner and have somebody cooking dinner when I get home and vice versa. And, I'm ready for all that.
Totally. And I think that life is better together. And I think building something is so important. But I think so many people are currently struggling with dating. What do you think the problem is right now? What's going wrong with modern dating?
I think there's too many options.
You think that's it?
You know what? I really don't know. But I think also like back in the day, people were prepared to settle as
Mm,
well. Whereas I think now women have come out into the world and we can have our own careers and, we can achieve all these amazing things
yep.
by ourselves without a partner. So now I think that our standards of what we expect from a man is higher
Yep.
than it maybe was 20, 30 years ago. Um, because we don't need somebody to provide for us anymore, but somebody that will complement our life.
Yeah, like we are doing really well as women, and so we want somebody who's at the same place or higher than us, and there's just not very many men who are there, which
No,
sounds so sad. And
it does.
if they are there, they don't want to settle down.
Yeah. I was talking to my friend this morning and we were saying like, we're really great. Like
Mhm.
we're, happy people, we're successful, like we're driven. I know that I'd make a great partner. So I just don't understand why it's such a struggle to actually meet somebody
Yeah.
that's at my level.
Yeah, and I think they're going to come though. I think you just have to trust your timing and your process. And so you're currently at date number 33. We're both feeling dating fatigue. What are some ways that you practice like self-love, self-care? How do you kind of handle that burnout? Especially because it's a two-pronged thing for you, right? You're not only out there dating, putting yourself out there, but you're also on the internet putting your dating life out there for your community as well. So how do you balance it all?
I want to ask you a question as well.
Yeah, of course. I'm
Can
here.
I answer this question? I ask you a question.
Yes.
Um, I just like so something that I think that I'm struggling with at the moment is men or women, whoever I'm dating,
Mhm.
generally men,
Okay.
knowing that I'm documenting the dates. And obviously all yours knew that you were doing this. Was it something that you were scared about posting, knowing that they'd see it?
Yeah. So during the beginning of the challenge, the men didn't actually know because I just met them on the dating apps. And I think I had like 80 followers on Instagram because it was my hobby Instagram. So then it started going viral. And then they started to find out and they started to watch. And I think a lot of the guys were doing it because they wanted to see their story play out on my Instagram because all of New York City knew about it. And so it was kind of like this like moment in time, this phenomenon that everyone wanted to be a part of. And so I think I had a lot of people in it for the wrong reasons. I also
Mm,
think that the guys who actually did like me, I was in real time posting videos about our dates, about how I was feeling about them, as well as on my stories. I was giving a lot of like behind the scenes look at like my feelings, our text messages. I was basically like doing a play by play for them. And I think that was a mistake because I think that, again, in dating, there has to be a little bit of the man pursuing at the beginning, a little bit of that mystery and intrigue. And so I think in a way the vlogging may have sabotaged my love life, but it created this big community. It created a whole new career for me. And so I know it was meant to happen how it happened, but I don't know if vlogging was the best way to find love is what I'm
I
trying to
feel
say.
I'm exactly in the same boat right now. Like I'm struggling with I think this is what it's given me and what it's brought
Mhm.
has been incredible. And I'm so grateful that I started it. But I am scared that I'm driving away people that I might actually connect with because I'm going to document their date. So,
Yep. I
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
no, that's it.
I was just going to say, I publicly came out and said that I'm not going to be sharing my dating vlogs in real time because I am seeing a few people that I actually want to see where it could go. And I just don't want to give them all the behind the scenes access to like how I'm feeling. And also, the people who I'm dating right now, they are private. And it sounds like I'm dating a million guys. I'm not, but I just like try to be as ambiguous as possible. So I decided recently to take a step back from it, but my challenge was different than yours because it's when you commit to the world like I'm going to go on 50 first dates and document it, do you almost feel like you're obligated to see it all the way through, or could you at any point step out of it?
Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, like I need to look after myself
Yeah.
the most.
Yep.
And if I met somebody, I've said from the beginning, like that would be it. The
It'd be
series would
over.
be over. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And if I felt like I needed to give up sooner, then I would. But
Okay.
it's not only commitment to the people that are following on the journey, it's commitment to myself to be like, no, Hannah, you've started this. You've got like
Yes.
17 more to go, just finish it.
You're so close. It's
I
so
know.
close, but 17 dates is actually a lot because if you think about it, I only did 28 dates and well, by the way, mine was intense because I did it in such a short amount of time
Short
that
period,
that
yeah.
piece of the puzzle took a big toll on me, but yours is kind of like there's no time limit.
Yeah.
Or is there?
Yeah, initially I kind of wanted to wrap it up within the year, but I figured that that's not good for me
Okay.
because I don't want to, I think that I still want to do authentic dates. Like I want to go on dates that I want to go on. And
Mhm.
I've noticed that I was doing some dates for the content instead of actually for myself.
Yep.
So I think that was a step back for me to be like, hey, Hannah, like it's not about, as much as it is about the content now, it's also about me.
It's about
Um,
you.
yeah. And so I think that was a little wake up call to me to be like, it doesn't have to be done in a year. You know, you can take it to a year and a half or however long it takes. But in response to your burnout question that you asked earlier,
Yeah.
no, sorry, how do you deal with like self care? Taking a step back when I need to, and also reminding myself that like, while it's content, it's also about my real life,
Mhm.
and that is my priority. um so I just, if I need to, like I'm just about to do, I will take a break,
Yeah.
and it's fine. The You said it yourself, like we have very loyal people that like
Mhm.
watch us and will stay,
Yep.
so they're going to be okay if I take 3 weeks or a month off.
Yeah, and even you can change your content style for a while. I was watching your vlogs, but also your other posts, and you have a really important message about self love, self confidence, body positivity, all these different layers of what makes you you. And so you could easily pivot into those messages as well. Can you talk to us about your journey with, self love, confidence? Because I feel like you are such a bright beacon of light where you seem so self-assured and you're so lovely and you're just so positive. So yeah, I'll stop talking and let you answer.
um, to be honest, I think I have always been a really positive person,
Okay.
but definitely like the self-love journey was like a long time coming, and I still think it's like always a process. I actually like didn't have a very good time in like primary school, even going into high school.
Mhm.
I just never really fit in anywhere. And it was only when I moved to like a creative school, like a performing arts school, that I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to be in this section of the world, or like I found my friends. And I think friends are a big part of
Yeah.
the self-love journey, like surrounding yourself with people that uplift you and think that you're great, because that will help you believe that you're great as well.
Mhm.
Um, and the body positivity was also a big thing for me because like I am like a little bit curvy, on the thicker side. Um, and I've mentioned her before, Megan Jane Crabbe. She wrote a book,
Okay.
and that really changed my whole perspective on my body. And once I started to like learn to love it myself, I think that changed my whole outlook on everything. But yeah, I don't know. I think it comes with age
I
too.
do too. Yeah.
Mm,
I think the older you get, the more you just become secure or you just realize that life is short and you need to embrace the current moment. But yeah, I think that it's like a lifelong journey, especially for women.
absolutely,
What's the
for
book called?
sure. It's called Body Positive Power. It's by Megan Jane Crabbe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were
And I
asking.
remember getting that book. Sorry to
Oh yeah,
interrupt you.
go ahead.
I remember getting that book by my friend. It was a gift. And I was so offended when she handed it to me because I wasn't comfortable in my body. So I
Okay.
was like,
You're like, what are
can't
you
we
saying?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't read it for a year. And then it was once I read that it changed. But it's just, you put it off so much and you push things back onto yourself that it's
Hmm.
hard to like actually take that step to do the work to get that confidence within yourself.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I definitely I think that it doesn't even matter, what your appearance is. I think it just matters that you love yourself because you see models who have the worst self-confidence and they're 6 feet tall and they have the perfect body or whatever, according to societal standards. and they don't have that self-love. And so again, I think it's an inner journey.
For sure. And
Um,
also, like, remind yourself that there are people out there that love your body. Everybody
yes,
has different tastes in people. Like,
1000%.
your taste and my taste in men might be completely different. You know, everybody has a has a different taste. So somebody out there is going to find you
They're
attractive.
gonna love what you have.
Exactly.
Do you have a type?
The age 101 question.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I want the tea.
I I don't think I do.
Okay.
I think that there's definitely people that I find attractive,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's not confined to anything. Like I've dated all different types of people,
Okay.
and I just think there's a lot of hot people out there that look very different.
I
You
agree.
know, I can be attracted to like a really skinny tall person or like somebody that's a bit thicker, you know,
Yeah,
like I don't think that there's one particular look that I go for.
I agree. I think I'm very similar where it's more about their energy and their personality, but then also like you don't always know who you're gonna vibe with. You know what I mean? Until you're sitting in front of them. That's why I always say like give people on the dating apps a chance.
I remember one of my best dates actually. I was looking at his photos and I was like, And then once I met up in person, I
Yeah.
was like, the chemistry's there. It's all
Yes.
about the chemistry.
It's all about the chemistry. I always say it's all about the pheromones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, but okay. And then in London, is it more of like a culture of people split the bill? I had a lot of questions coming in about, how you guys handle the bill over there.
So generally, I don't do dinner dates.
Okay.
A lot of
As a
mine are
first
just
date or as just in general, you don't like to do
as a
dinner?
first date.
Okay.
As a first date, yeah.
Hmm.
It's generally drinks, um, or like something that isn't a bill. You know, like one set bill to tie out the night. So I'll usually go round for round or like it's kind of even. But actually, you know, and I've always been like I'm more than happy to split the bill.
Hmm.
But I got stood up recently. Um, and I was thinking, you know, I showered, I shaved, I blow dried my hair, I used my expensive makeup. Like I put in all this effort
Hmm.
for something that never happened. But regardless, if a guy gets ready for a date, he literally jumps in the shower, chucks on some cologne, and is out the door. So I think now I'm more leaning towards like I would like
The guy to pay.
somebody to pay for the bill.
Yeah. I think that's my stance on it. I definitely, if the guy was like, could we split? I would, of course, be like, sure. And then I would probably never see him again. Um, but in general, in New York, the culture is that the man pays. And usually the guy will pay for like the first like 5 dates. And then maybe you start to talk about splitting, or maybe they'll just say, like, don't worry about it. But I feel like New York is maybe a little maybe it's different than the UK.
Yeah, I know. I feel like women here do expect men to pay as well.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure. I mean, I'll always, you know, offer and go round for round, but I did go on a date and he did pay for the date and
that's
I
good.
really liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
no, I
was
feel
nice.
like that should be the rule, not the exception.
Agreed.
Yeah. And like I think that also kind of circles back to you leaning back and observing and seeing what he does and just don't don't offer to get around.
Yeah, I'm not good at that.
I
I'm like, no,
know.
no, no, I'll get this one.
Because I was watching your Instagram and you were like, I'm a people pleaser. So as a people pleaser, is it harder for you to set boundaries?
For sure. Absolutely. And in
Okay.
the beginning of the series, yeah. I think I'm definitely a lot better at it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely a lot better at calling people out on things that I don't agree with on the date.
Okay.
Um, so my most recent date didn't set his age as the correct age and tried to like worm his way around why it wasn't the correct age.
Yeah,
And
that's
I just
weird.
called him out on it straight up.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're lying.
I mean, and that's not a good sign. Like, I just feel like be truthful is like the bare minimum.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's easier now because I don't feel the need to impress as much because I'm like, I'm still going on dates. So, like, no, you're wrong. or,
Yeah,
no, not appropriate.
1000%. And they should be trying to impress you. And so it's like as much as you want to be accepted by them, they should equally want to be accepted by you.
Mm, yeah.
Um,
'Cause I think in our head, especially as women,
mhm.
we're always the ones that are like, oh, we need to make sure that they like us,
Yes.
where it's just as much about if we like them. But I don't think, I mean, myself, especially when I started this, I never really took a step back to be like, do I like this person?
Hmm.
But the more that dates that I've gone on, the more I'm like, oh, no.
No, yeah, you're also evaluating them because you're an amazing human. And so they should feel lucky and blessed to be in your presence.
Yes. Yes. Queen.
Yes,
Love
let's
it.
go. So you talk a lot in your different vlogs about guys, calling you a tease or trying to push your boundaries sexually. Do you have any rules about like when you decide to have sex with people in the dating process?
No, no. And I think that was one of the hardest things about this series,
Mm-hmm.
to disclose that, because I think that especially in our society today, there's still a lot of slut shaming.
Yes.
And one of the dates I went on, I did sleep with him on our first date, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't regret that at all.
Right.
But I definitely think doing this series has made me take a step back, and I'm not as willing to sleep with them or even kiss them
Mm.
on the first date now. Like, I definitely hold a lot more back, whether that's because I know that it's being publicly aired or whether that's the stage of my life that I'm at. I don't even kiss on first dates anymore. Whereas I think if I was younger, or when I was younger, I would kiss on a first date, even if I didn't really want to.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely, when I did my challenge, I was practicing a 90-day rule, which was I wasn't going to sleep with somebody for the first 90 days. I think that was maybe a little too extreme, but similar to you, I was just like, I don't want to be slut shamed. I don't want to deal with all of that. Um, but I definitely think that there's like a happy medium where you follow your body, like listen to the cues, like make an emotional connection first and then the physical should follow, in my mind at least. But
We
also
also
90
have the
days is too
same
long.
Yeah, and we also have the same desires as men. But
Right.
I think I've also kind of realized that I understand the 3 date rule now, because it does take 3 dates for you to kind of get a stone concrete idea of who they are as a person.
Yep.
I do think that it takes those 3 dates before you're like, oh, okay. Because I've definitely like slept with someone on a second date.
Mm-hmm.
And by the third date, I was like,
Why did I do
oh
that?
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I've been like really hitting it off with somebody and then we get to like the fifth, sixth date and we sleep together. And then I'm like, I don't know. Cause like there wasn't rhythm or there wasn't a sexual connection. And you
Yeah,
thought like
which is important.
it's important. And like, but also I recently asked my friend who's married and she was like, the first time she had sex with her husband, she said it was really bad because he was nervous. And so then that also made me pause because I'm like, oh, so maybe I shouldn't write off a
I do
guy.
think that I do think that like it always improves
Yeah.
once they get to know your body a bit better and you get to
Hmm.
know theirs. Like, I always think that it gets better in that department.
Yeah, it's an upward
Um,
trajectory.
yeah, but it definitely impacts your relationship and changes how you interact with one another, I would say.
1000%. So, how do you decide if somebody gets a second date with you?
Chemistry.
Chemistry?
Yeah.
So, if you're unsure, if you're kind of waffling, do you just usually go with a no then?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do. And it's something I battled with, because people were like, you're not giving them enough chance. Sometimes the first date's not great, but on the second date you have a really good time.
Mm,
But I do honestly think that after the first date whether there's chemistry or not.
yeah. And I think
And it doesn't
honestly,
mean it has
go
to
ahead.
be a great first date,
Hmm.
but if you really connect, then I'll have a second date.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about trusting your body, trusting your intuition. If you're really feeling like it's a no, and just keep moving.
Because there was a date that I went on. I walked by the canal with him on the first date, and I knew after that I wasn't super keen on him, but I was like, you know what? Everybody keeps telling me, give it a second date.
Yep.
So I did. And it still
And you
wasn't
still
great.
weren't keen. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so interesting. Okay, so you had a guy where you took an hour-long bus ride to go bowling with him, and then he bailed on you 5 minutes before the date. Okay, so when I was watching that, I was like so irritated. I can't believe that happened. Like, I sucks. I'm so sorry. But do you feel like it's better for women to date closer to home and have the guy come towards you?
that's like one of my first dates. You really went back,
Oh,
gal.
I did my research.
I do now.
Okay.
I do now. I mean, it depends, I think. If they've planned an activity or you're going to go to some special spot,
Mhm.
then I'm more than happy to travel for that.
Okay.
But if it's just something casual like drinks, then maybe an in-between place or closer to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big proponent of the guy like coming towards you because again, you've put in the effort to do your hair, your makeup, your outfit, all of the things. And as women, it takes us longer to get ready. It just does. So they should make the effort to at least come towards us, in
Yeah,
my
agree.
opinion. Okay, so you stopped seeing a guy because basically he didn't drink. That was a deal breaker for you or a non-negotiable. Do you have any other non-negotiables for a future partner?
It goes back to values aligning. I
Okay.
think our values need to align, and that's what would be the non-negotiables for me.
So those are the biggest like north stars that are kind of guiding you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I want to make sure we have the same idea for our future.
Yep.
And how we'd, I mean, obviously you're not going to get into all this on a first date. Like, how would you want your kids raised? But
Right.
you get an idea of like what their beliefs are and what they value and things like that. So, yeah,
And you get that by just talking to them and seeing what they bring up and the topics that they discuss as well. You don't have to explicitly always just ask them. I think it's just going to naturally kind of reveal itself.
for sure. Agreed.
What do you think is the perfect first date?
What do I think is the perfect
Yeah.
first date? I think for me personally, it's just doing something casual, getting drinks somewhere, and just getting to know the person. But I mean, I know that a lot of people are like drinks and dinner, and you know, I think I like casual.
You like casual.
Yeah.
What date number did your dating fatigue start to kick in?
Um, To be honest with you, I think after date 20, because I think that, because I was invested in date 20, he was the
Okay.
one that I was kind of seeing and I really liked,
Okay.
and he ended it. And I don't think I ever fully gave myself enough time to recover from that. Um, I think I'm past it now, but I've definitely reached the burnout stage again where I just am so over having the same conversations and it's not fun for me anymore. I'm not
Mm,
having fun. And I'm a big believer in that dating should be fun.
I agree.
Yes, I'm trying to meet somebody, but it should just be a fun experience.
Yeah, I agree. This person actually asked, do you find some of the topics on your dates to be too repetitive? How do you alleviate it, if so?
Yeah. I used to ask all these like random little questions,
Mm,
like, and because I love random questions, but I've noticed that even now, especially in the burnout, I've even stopped asking those questions because I
mm,
can't be bothered
yeah.
to ask even those questions again.
Getting to know people in like the early days, it's fun, but if you're constantly doing it, you just want something that's familiar. And that's
Hmm.
natural as a human. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I can see how the first dates over and over and over again get old. And even with me, I've also taken a break from the dating apps and I'm meeting people organically. I'm going to a lot of networking events and just, meeting different friend groups and meeting people that way. And whenever I'm familiar with somebody or they have like, or we have a mutual friend, even if they're not my typical person to go for, I feel more inclined to go for them because I'm just so sick of strangers and I crave that familiarity.
Yeah, for sure. And just like meeting the same people over and over again, it can get exhausting. But I also think it's like if you have that one good date,
Mm,
it spurs you on because you're like, you know what? Yes, I did have a great date and there will be another one, but I've just had a really long run of
Of
pretty
bad ones.
mediocre
Yeah.
dates. Yeah.
And you're right. Once you kind of feel that magic, like little tingle in your stomach again, you're like, okay, this is worth it. And so you just have to
Mm.
keep going, and it can feel draining, but yeah, like there's no other alternative because you want to meet your person.
What else are you supposed to do?
I honestly don't know. This person said, should I lower my physical attraction standards when swiping on the apps?
I mean, this goes back to what we were saying before about, sometimes you don't think you're going to vibe with somebody, but then when you meet up, the chemistry's there. So I'm pretty lenient about who I swipe with on the
Mm-hmm.
apps because I do think that chemistry is more important. And you might not be attracted to their profile, but when you meet them in real life, you are. And I think that men in general are pretty terrible at taking pictures and uploading pictures of themselves.
I agree. And I think sometimes the guys with too polished of dating apps, that's also a red flag.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why are you so good at this?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your top 3 icks that would make you leave in the middle of a date?
Anything that crosses my values to an extreme, like
Mm-hmm.
anything homophobic, racist, anything like that, catcha.
Yeah, see that here.
Misogynistic, like I'm out that door.
Yep.
Anything other than that, I don't think, unless they like started getting super intoxicated on the date
Mm-hmm.
and started getting aggressive or were really drunk, anything like that, I would leave. But in terms of like behavior wise, I don't think there would be a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm very similar. I think that I can usually close out a date, but I always tell people bring cash just in case, and then you can just leave it on the table and walk out if you have to. Um, but yeah, I think if they're offensive or like hurtful or annoying, not annoying, that's subjective. Whatever. I agree with what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Has the dating been uplifting and confidence building, or just draining, or both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Um, Sorry, do you want to
I feel
expand?
like I feel like you've had the same experience. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's this amazing community that's been built
Yes.
from this. And that's really inspired and uplifted me so much. And I get all these beautiful messages from people that are like, you've encouraged me to start dating
Mm-hmm.
and that wonderful thing has come out of it. And then also it's created this platform for me,
Yep.
which I love creating content. It's so much fun. I am creative and I love doing it.
Yep.
And so it's given me a lot of opportunities like that, but definitely there's the draining side.
Yeah. There are so many more questions, but I know you have a hard out at 9:30 my time. So before we go, first of all, please come to New York, and I would love to just get drinks with you. We could get
Love
dinner.
to.
I'll take you on a date. Like I'll pay for something because these men need to get their shit together. Um and but before, I mean, obviously you're coming back, and then I'll ask the rest of these questions then when you're in New York City. But in the meantime, what's your biggest piece of love and dating advice?
I think it would be to remember that you're the most important relationship that you have with yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I guess right now it would focus upon, like, for me personally, I'm taking a step back because I know that I'm not 100% in love with myself at the moment. Hi. Oh my
This
God,
is
so cute.
Archie. Yeah.
Hi, Archie. I know I've seen heaps of photos of him. Hi, gorgeous. But yeah, I think you're the most important relationship that you have and that you're the prize, and you shouldn't settle for less than you deserve because in the long run, it's not going to work out if you do that.
Absolutely. Do you think moving forward, you're going to just kind of step back and let it happen naturally? Or do you think you're going to continue to, move forward and do the systematic dating like you currently are?
I don't know. I definitely want to stay off the apps for a little bit. I'm going to do some dating when I'm in Oz because I'm
Okay.
going back to Australia at the end of the year.
Yep.
So I'll probably jump on dates for that. But I I think I want to meet people more like you said, you know, going to events and meeting people in person,
Yep.
I think is the best way because you get a vibe of them straight away. So I'm definitely going to try and make it more real life matches.
I agree. And I think there's something to be said about starting out as friends, even. Like, I had a friend where I didn't know what his intentions were, and he kept asking me to do things, and I was like, okay, like whatever. And then eventually he kissed me and was like, I think I like you more than friends. But it started out where it was just like a genuinely good friendship connection, and then it evolved, and that was amazing. So I'm like, start dating your friends if there's something
Yeah,
there. That's my advice.
which, you know, I'm totally with you because like I
Mhm.
said earlier, I want to be with my best friend.
Yep.
So I do want that friendship to be the baseline of the relationship. But I have heaps of male friends and unfortunately there's no sexual chemistry there, but I need to start making more male friends.
You do. And honestly, I will say this, the friend who kissed me eventually, we did kind of have a vibe on the first date where I could feel the chemistry, but I just was kind of like, I don't know. Like, it took me, he was a slow burn. So
Yeah.
keep
So
making more male friends. That's my advice to you because you're burned out with dating, but you deserve to be with somebody who genuinely appreciates you for who you are inside and out. So just keep like networking. I think that's your solution.
yeah. Yeah. And well, I'm now going to a lot more events because of this. So fingers
I
crossed.
am sending you all my good vibes. Thank you so much for coming on today. Where can people find you if they want to follow along?
You can just look up 50 First Dates
Okay.
on any of the platforms, or my name, Hannah Zaslawski.
You're a genius. I love it. Well, sending
Thank
you all the
you.
good vibes and can't wait for you to come to New York. And yeah, good luck. We're on the same
I'm
journey.
I'm gonna start planning my New York trip now. It was so wonderful
Me
speaking to
too.
you.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't wait. And it's gonna be so fun. Like maybe when I get married, you can come to my wedding, and when you get married, I'll come to yours.
The First Dates girls. I love
First
this
dates,
for the
girls.
branding.
Okay, thanks, Hannah.